My last video, I left you guys with a question, and that question was, at what point regarding the touring industry, at what point does it become more of a business than a kennel? And I actually got a lot of feedback from you guys, and it was really interesting to see. And the most common answer was, and here it goes for everything, right? Not just the sled dogs, but at what point does it become more of a business? And a lot of you guys said that when you lose passion for it, it becomes this monotonous, this everyday type grinding away type thing, and that, if anything in life, that's what you don't want to do, right? Especially when it comes to the sled dogs. You want to make sure that you have this fire, that you have a fire about anything that you're doing in life. And I've done a lot of takes of this video, and the reason for that is because I just wanted to come out right. And I guess what we're trying to say, okay, here, let me start with this. Dana and I, and with some friends and our staff, have actually come up, like Dana said, with a group, or a list of standards that we've been talking to Summit County officials, Summit County Animal Control, Park City, about starting here regarding the industry that we can all sort of follow, that'll hold us all accountable, right? Okay, and some of those things are, how many times a day should a sled dog or a tour dog run? How many times a week should they run? Just because they're fit enough to run X amount of times, should you really max them out every single day, every single week, every single month for the tour?
And temperatures and weather.
Yeah, temperatures play such a huge part. Diet. And here's the thing, when you're racing, especially when we go off to race, right? It doesn't matter if it's an international elite level race we will go to, or if it's a weekend race that we'll go to. At every single race, you guys, there is mandatory vet checks. Mandatory vet checks that come and they assess your dogs, making sure that they're 100% good in order to compete. So I would love to see that in the touring industry as well. I would love to see this governing body send out representatives, right? Like knowledgeable individuals that know our sport, okay, that know our sport, that are able to, and with veterinarians, that are able to go out and assess the teams. Wouldn't you agree? That assess the teams and assess the dogs, and their
living conditions and how they're being cared for, their body, how their body's looking. Are they too thin? BMIs, are they too fat? Are there any injuries? How's their fur looking? Do they look a little mangy? Whatever it is, we want somebody that can assess that, because this is kind of where it gets into a gray light for some people, for sure. I want you to think about it like this. We live in a very fancy place. There's lots of money that flows around here in Park City, and it's very easy to get caught up in those dollar signs and how can we make the most money kind of a thing. And that's where this can become a problem, is if the focus is more on money and not on dogs, it can get kind of twisted there. And that's our goal, is to always keep it pure, that this should always be a sport that's focused on dogs. The tour industry should be focused on dogs, and the money shouldn't really come into play in that.
It shouldn't be the number one factor.
It shouldn't be.
Obviously, right, they need money. Okay, so everything we make goes right back into our kennel.
Exactly.
I don't have to pay a third person to use a trail. I don't have to. Dana and I, everything we've built up from the ground, we've cut our own trails. We've poured literally blood, sweat, and tears into this place, and everything goes back to our dogs.
Exactly.
So it's not something we're adding on to in addition to the snowmobile package. It's not something. So you catch my idea. Now, here's the thing, right? So the governing body would be nice to be able to kind of hold everyone accountable, send everyone down that same trail so that everyone's running smoothly.
Exactly. So the focus is always on safety, health, and happiness first. Money is just, something on the side that just happens to come along when you do this right.
For the benefit of the dogs.
Exactly, for the benefit of the dogs. It should never be, let us run our dogs as many times as we can with as many people as we can because we can squeeze this much in to make this amount of dollars. That's not what the focus should ever be. And if that is the focus, you're in the wrong sport. This shouldn't be something that you're doing. The focus should always be animals first, and that goes for anybody signing up for a tour.
What we're trying to
doing
say,
it better.
How many of you guys would like to see a governing body? How many of you guys would like to see that in the touring industry? I know I would. I would love to see that. I would love to see some strict rules on the industry so that we can all be held accountable, and that the longevity is there for the sport, right?
Exactly.
Wouldn't you agree? Or not for the sport, but for the industry.
Right.
And last thing I kind of want to touch on before, because we're babbling on, is Can't even remember now. I lost my track. But anyway, what do you guys think? I know some of you guys will probably tell me to go to hell, whatever, but some of you guys might be interested in it. Again, nothing set in stone quite yet officially with the Summit County or anything, but I do think it's going to get there.